Hello everyone, how are you? And a big hello to you. So today once I again came with this lesson, the best Christmas present in the world, for the explanation. Already some background was given to you that the author, who was the author of this lesson, the name of the author is Michael Morpurgo. So he was there, and he went to for a sale to buy a roll top desk, as he was interested to buy it since long. Now it was a junk shop, so already second hand things were there, and he had seen a roll top desk. He wanted to buy it, and the best thing about that desk, though it was a broken desk from many places, it was broken, but it was made of oak wood. Oak wood is very costly wood. So that roll top desk was made of oak wood, which was very expensive. But the other scenario of that roll top desk was that it was broken from many sides, especially the upper part of the desk was completely damaged. And he bought that roll top desk to his house. He kept at the back portion of his house to mend it, and when he was going to mend it, he saw a secret drawer of the desk. The author found there a small black color tin box, and it had a letter in it. Okay, and he thought the owner of the roll top desk might have put it there. Now, so he was very keen to read the letter, though he knew very well that it is not good to read the letter of other. But then he started reading, and I told you yesterday only. Okay, you can see the date was already written. It is written here, and I think I've explained you in my first video. You can see the date is here. Okay, inside the box there was an envelope. The address read Mrs. Jim Macpherson, 12 Copwood Beeches, Bridgeport, Dorset. I took out the letter and unfolded it. It was written in pencil and dated at the top December 26, 1940. So this was the time of the World War I. And what was dated at the top? December 26, 1914. So he found that letter, though he knew that he is not doing a good thing to read the letter of someone else, but then he could not stop himself. He started reading the letter. So in the second part, what we will be reading, in the second part we will be reading the letter. So that letter was written to dearest Connie. Connie was the wife of the soldier. So that letter was addressed to Connie. I write to you in a much happier frame of mind because something wonderful had just happened. Now, that letter was written by Jim to his wife Connie, and now that Connie, she is very old. She has become very old, 101 years old, and unfortunately the house of that lady was burned. So she had to sell the things. She is somewhere else. She is not living in her house right now. So because the whole house was burned and many furnitures were damaged, so she had given that furniture to that in the antique shop, in that junk shop. So if anybody was interested in that half burnt furniture, he may take it. So it was the author who had taken it. He found a letter, and you can see that letter was written by Jim Macpherson to his wife, dear Connie. Now Connie has become old, and see here, he could not resist himself. He could not stop himself to read the letter. Now I'm going to read the letter of the second part. Dearest Connie, I write to you in a much happier frame of mind because something wonderful had just happened that I must tell. Now it is the letter of a husband, Connie's husband, and what was the name of the husband? It was Jim Macpherson. So he had written that letter when he went to when he went for there was a war at that time. This is a war story. So from the side of England he was sent to fight in a war. So from that place he is writing a letter to her. I write to you in a much happier frame of mind. Now he is telling that I am very happy because something wonderful has just happened. Now why he was happy? Because he is telling his wife that something wonderful had just happened. Now let's see what that wonderful thing has happened. We were all standing in our trenches yesterday morning. Now they went for a war. There was a war between England and Germany. The soldiers of both the countries were called. They were standing at a no-one land. That means a place was there which belonged neither to Germany nor to the Britishers. So they were standing, both the soldiers of those countries, they were standing there only. And they were standing in our trenches. Trenches, as you can see the meaning written here. Trenches means long deep ditches in the ground where soldiers hide from the enemy. Okay. So very deep and long ditches are dug in the ground so that the soldiers can hide from the enemy to save their life. They hide, and when they are called by the officer, they come out from there and then they fight. So we were all standing in our trenches yesterday morning. So this happened actually a day before. And a day before was Christmas morning. It was crisp and quiet all about. Everywhere quietness was there. In fact, everybody was not liking that day because both the country, they celebrate Christmas in a gala way, and both were away from the soldiers of both the countries were away from their family. So the Christmas was not very good, and hence a quietness was seen all around. But Christmas morning was as beautiful as morning as I've ever seen. But that Christmas morning was really very beautiful, and this he had shared with his wife Connie. He had written this thing in the letter. So let's see what he had written. We were all standing in our trenches yesterday morning, Christmas morning. It was crisp and quiet all about, as beautiful a morning as I have ever seen, as cold and frosty as a Christmas morning should be. So now here the writer is telling about that beautiful Christmas morning. It was very cold and frost was there everywhere. Quietness was there because the soldiers were away from their family, so they were a bit sad. Okay, but the Christmas morning was very beautiful. I should like to be able to tell you. Now he is telling, you can see this part. I'm here. I should like to be able to tell you that we began it. Now he started telling, he is sharing with his wife that what really happened. But the truth I am ashamed to say is that Fritz began. Now they were from England. Okay, Jim belonged from the British Army, and Fritz was generally told to the German. It was a nickname given to the Germans, and Tommy were generally, this nickname was given to the Britishers. So he told, in fact, I felt ashamed that it was started by, some good thing had started by German army. That means by Fritz. Fritz were the German army. First, someone saw a white flag waving from the trenches opposite. Now, somebody from their side, somebody from which was their side? They were English people. They were British Army. So he is telling that someone saw a white flag waving from the trenches opposite. That from the trenches which was opposite from them, and who were there in the trenches, it was the German soldiers who were there in the soldiers. So what this British army people they have seen that somebody had taken out a white flag in their hands and they were waving the flag. That means they wanted to have friendship. Then they were calling out to us from across no man's land, Happy Christmas, Tommy. And not only that, what those people have done, what that German soldiers they have done, they started wishing them Happy Christmas, Tommy. Now here Tommy refers to the British soldiers. Happy Christmas. So again and again he was hearing Merry Christmas, Happy Christmas from them. When we had got over the surprise, now they were very much surprised that instead of fighting, instead of showering them with the bullets, instead of killing them, these German soldiers, they were wishing him Merry Christmas. So they were surprised. Some of us shouted back, same to you, Fritz. Now the soldier, they also came to action, and some of them from the British army, they also started shouting, same to you. What they started shouting? Same to you, Fritz, same to you. Now they started shouting, same to you, Fritz. Same to you means they also started wishing Merry Christmas to Fritz. Fritz were known. The name Fritz was the name given to the British soldiers. Sorry, German soldiers. So the British soldiers also started wishing German soldiers, and what did they call? They told, same to you, Fritz, same to you. That means they also starting wishing Merry Christmas. I thought that would be that. We all did. Now they started telling that then we all did. That means we started being an officer. He should stop, but even he started wishing them Merry Christmas. But then suddenly one of them was up there in his great coat and waving a white flag, and suddenly he saw somebody from his putting a grey coat, he was coming towards them waving with a white flag. Don't shoot lads. Lads means young boys. He told, don't shoot. He was coming towards them, somebody from German army from coming towards the British soldiers, and what did he told? He told not to shoot at him. Someone shouted and no one did. Even they were surprised, they did not shoot. Then there was Ander Fritz up on the parapet, and Ander Fritz came from the parapet. Then Ander, that means many soldiers, they started coming one by one. And at the same time they were shouting that not to shoot. Now parapet means the wall on the side of the wall or roof. Control. Parapet, please write it. The wall on the side of the wall or roof. The wall on the side of the wall or roof. And lads here means young boys. Okay. Now then they so keep your heads down. I told the men it's a trick, but it wasn't. Now at first the British soldiers, what they thought it is a trick. It is trick by them. They might be playing a trick with them to kill them. So he told, who is he here? Jim Macpherson, the commanding officer of the British Army. He gave order that don't believe on them, okay, and be very careful. This might be a trick. But it wasn't. One of the German was waving a bottle above his head. It's a Christmas tree, Tommy. Now Tommy is referred to the British soldiers and Fritz is referred to German soldiers. Okay. So then again what they saw, they were coming with the flags, and one of the German was waving a bottle over his heads. It's a Christmas day, Tommy. We have schnapps. In fact, they were not coming to fight with them, they were coming to enjoy with them. Okay, so they were coming, they saw that they were coming with the bottle of snaps. You can see this word and see the spelling and see how it is being pronounced. You can see, so they will have synapse, this word, and you can see how it is pronounced. Okay, you can see it here. Here, schnapps. So it has been pronounced as schnapps. It is a German drink made from grain. So they told him, what did they told to Tommy, that is the British Army, they told ki it is a Christmas day and we have sauces, we have a nice drink, schnapps, and we want to meet you. That means we want to celebrate this festival with you. We meet you. Yes, by this time there were dozens of them walking towards us across no man's land and not a rifle between them. Now in a few moments, what Jim saw, he saw many German soldiers were coming towards them, and this time they were not having guns and bullets in their hands, but it was a bottle of schnapps and sauces. They wanted to celebrate Christmas. Those German soldiers, they wanted to celebrate Christmas with the British soldiers. Little Private Morris was the first up. Come on, boys, what are we waiting for? Now, children, a soldier was there which was known by the name, people used to call him Little Private Morris. So he was the first one to come up and he shouted, come on, boys, what are we waiting for? And there was no stopping. At first, the English soldiers, they were not knowing, the British soldiers, they were not knowing whether to obey them, whether it is a trick or it is should they go and celebrate with them. But then they saw somebody by the name of Little Private Morris and he started shouting. He came first. He told, come on, boys, what are we waiting for? And then there was no stopping. And afterward, no stopping. Both the soldiers, both the country's soldiers, they were coming toward each other and greeting. I was the officer. I should have stopped them there and there. Now, being a commanding officer, it was his duty not to celebrate Christmas with the German soldiers. It was his duty to instruct his British soldiers not to celebrate Christmas with the German soldier. But instead of telling no to them, okay, I suppose is that, but the truth is that it never even occurred to me I should. He told that this thing never came to in my mind to stop them. In fact, he also wanted the British soldiers should go and enjoy with them the festival of Christmas. He could not say no to his soldiers. All along their line and ours, I could see men walking slowly towards one another, grey coats, khaki coats meeting in the middle. Now, children, those people, they were putting grey coats, German soldiers, and the British people, they were putting khaki coats. So you can see Christmas is always, there is a cold, snowfall was there all over the land. So they were putting coats. So German soldiers, they were putting grey color coats, and British soldiers, they were putting khaki coats. So he saw that many soldiers from German side and from British side, they were meeting in the middle and celebrating Christmas. And I was one of them. I was part of this. In the middle of the war, we were making peace. Now this line is very important. You have to learn this line. That instead of fighting with the bullet in the middle of the war, what they were doing, they were making peace. There was and in this manner they wanted to have peace in the world also. You cannot imagine, dearest Connie, my feeling as I look into the eye of the first officer. Now he's telling about his feeling when he saw first officer. That means he was a commanding officer of the British soldier. And now he looked at the eyes of the commanding officer of the German soldier. Okay. I looked into the eyes of the first officer who approached me, hand outstretched. Even he was coming to shake hands with him, and he gave his introduction. What he told about himself? Hans Wolf. He told his name, Hans Wolf. So what was the name of the commanding officer of the German soldier? It was Hans Wolf. And the name of the commanding officer of the British soldier? Of course, it was Jim McPherson. He said, gripping my hand warmly and holding it, I'm from Dusseldorf. I play the cello in the orchestra. Happy Christmas. He gave his, he visited him. He shook hand with him, the German commanding officer, and he gave his introduction that he is from which side of Germany? Dusseldorf, and he play piano. What he is expert beside being the soldier, he was expert in playing a cello. Cello is a musical instrument. You can write the meaning of cello. It's a type of musical instrument, and where he is to play in the orchestra. And he wished him Merry Christmas. He told him Happy Christmas. Now, Jim also introduced him. What he told? So Jim also introduced him. What he told Captain Jim McPherson. He also introduced himself, the commanding officer of the British soldier. He told me, I'm Captain Jim McPherson. I replied, and a happy Christmas to you too. Now he also said happy Christmas to you too. I'm a school teacher from Dorset. Now he told me, before joining army, I was a school teacher. Where? In Dorset. Where? Which place? Yes, Dorset. And that place is in the west of England. Dorset, he smiled. I know this place. I know it very well. Now children, in fact, he never went there. He only studied about that place in one of the storybook. Okay. But that German soldier, he is talking to Jim McPherson, and he was showing as if he knew about that place. He's aware of that place. Okay. He knew a lot about that place. So he's telling, Dorset, he smiled. I know this place. I know it very well. So he's telling that he know that place. It was very well he knew this place. We shared my rum ration and his excellent sauces. Now children, both of the soldiers, commanding officer, they are sharing, okay, excellent sauces and rum ration. So they are exchanging their foods. Okay, and let's see what they are talking. And we talked, Connie, how we talked. Connie, he is writing this letter to his wife, and in this letter he's sharing what they did. So he is telling, we talked. Who talked? Fritz, that means that German or commanding officer, and this British commanding officer, that means Hans Wolf and Jim McPherson. So they both talked, they both share their food, rum and excellent sauces. We talked, Coney, how we talked. He spoke almost perfect English. Now he is telling, though he belonged from Germany, but he was speaking a very perfect English. But it turned out that he had never set foot in Dorset. But then he came to know that he never came in Dorset. Never ever been to England, because he told that he never been to England. He had learned all he knew of England from school and from reading books in English. Now he told me whatever he knew about England, that he had read a book Far from the Madding Crowd, and other knowledge of England he had got from his school, from his studies. His favorite writer for reading books in English, not from reading books in English. Now he loved to read English novel, and one of his favorite book was, it is written here very clearly, Far from the Madding Crowd. I think this book is there in your library also, so whenever you get time you read this book. Okay, so what is the name of this book? Far from the Madding Crowd. So out there in no man's land we talked of, so what did they talk of? Bathsheba and Gabriel Oak and Sergeant Troy and Dorset. So many things about England and of Germany they started talking. He had a wife and one son. He talked about his family also. He also had a wife and he had a son born just 6 months ago, and that son was an infant. He was born only 6 months ago. As I looked about me, there were huddles of khaki and grey everyone. Then suddenly he looked, this British officer, he looked, and then he saw that all over that place he could see khaki and grey. People wearing khaki coats and grey coats. So khaki coats were worn by British soldiers and grey coats were put by German soldiers. So they were putting, and they were merrymaking, they were laughing, they were talking, they were smoking, okay, eating. So here, as I looked about me, there were huddles of khaki and grey everywhere. So I'm here. You can read this line. He had a wife and one son born just 6 months ago. As I looked about there, what he saw? He saw the huddles of khaki and grey everywhere, all over no man's land, smoking, laughing, talking, drinking, eating. So what they were doing? They were talking, drinking, eating and laughing. Yeah, that means they were enjoying. Hans Wolf and I shared what was left of your wonderful Christmas cake. Now children, Connie had sent him, she had made a nice yummy Christmas cake for the occasion of Christmas, and she sent this cake to her husband James McMuffin. Now he shared this cake with Fritz, with that German officer. He thought the marzipan was the best he had ever tasted. Now children, marzipan is a kind of sweet. You can see here a sweet covering on a cake. So it was icing, in fact, made from sugar, eggs and almonds. So he told him that it is one of the best icing. Icing is that creamy portion of the cake. Okay, so he is telling, he thought this is the best marzipan, was the best he had ever tasted. I agreed. We agreed about everything, and he was my enemy. Children, they agreed about everything, but then still he was his enemy. There never was a Christmas party like it, Connie. Now he told, till now he had never celebrated such type of Christmas party anywhere. So with this I end my video here, and go through it once again. Try to understand, try to do the question and answer. Whatever difficult word meaning, new word meanings were there, I've given you, and read and reread it, so that you can understand much better. And then I've already given my WhatsApp number to you people. You're already added me, so whatever problem you will have, you will ask me. Now here I end my video. Thank you and have a nice day ahead. Goodbye.